Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Today is a Thanksgiving I will remember for the rest of my life because I woke up this morning and I saw that my book, my new novel, Jack Dagger, A Lynx Tale, just went live on Amazon. And this is literally a dream come true. So I've got the chat on here. If you guys have questions, we will discuss my new novel and how I came up with the characters and the story. It's all so much fun. It's a whirlwind. I can't believe it happened. I used to be a writer in television. I was a story producer for a couple of decades, written a couple feature films. I wrote the Hogan Code, but I've never written a novel, a full length fiction story. And finally, one day, the idea popped into my head about this character, Jack Moore. And I gave him the nickname Dagger because when he's on a roll and he starts making birdie putts, he takes his putter up into the air and he stabs it down into the towards the hole, like, wham, there's another one, a dagger to the heart. And Jack is he's a lovable loser. Okay. And basically, he's a 50 something washed up golf professional who spent a couple decades on the PGA Tour, has 3 wins to show for it, washed out of the tour in his mid 40s. And now, 6, 7 years later, he's barely keeping his head afloat. He tries to hustle some lessons and win some money on the golf course, but it's a very meager existence. But Jack gets an opportunity to participate in the US Open prep at the 2023 US Open location site, which is Los Angeles Country Club here in LA. I'm in Pasadena, just outside of town, but it's not far from here. It's just around Beverly Hills, is where the LA Country Club is. And it's the first US Open that's going to be held there. Now, this is a pretty interesting story because Jack isn't able to continue working for the prep team, and he winds up in even deeper and deeper trouble. But a series of events leads him back to his childhood golf coach named Billy Coker. And he goes to tell Billy that, I only won 3 times. I never won a major, and everybody thought I was going to be a major champion because Jack is the only person to ever birdie all 18 holes in a round of golf. And he did it when he was 19 years old, when he was a college sophomore at the University of Florida. And Jack was the only person to make 18 birdies. And so Jack basically never lived up to his potential. And when he goes to talk to his old golf coach, when they just bump into each other, his old golf coach tells him, "Well, you changed your swing." He's like, "What do you mean I changed my swing?" And Jack had a little over the top move when he played his best golf. It was natural, and his coach Billy never tried to train him out of it. But when he went to the PGA Tour, guess what? All the gurus on tour, the swing whisperer got his hands on Jack and trained him to drop the club under in transition, thus nullifying his go-to natural swing. And so Billy goes about teaching Jack so much more than he ever taught him as a young man because Jack wasn't prepared for the advanced teaching that Billy gives him. But running into Billy now in his early 50s, he gives him a new birth of knowledge. And it's really an amazing story about how they come together to make a team to enter the US Open, the 2023 US Open. So this is really, really fascinating. The book, here's the manuscript that I have here. The book turned out to be 359 pages long. I think it's a great length. It'll make a great movie or a great season 1 of a television show. And I have many more books in Jack Dagger's future. The next story I'm working on is the clan, Jack Dagger, the clan, where he discovers he has relatives in Scotland, and he's from Clan Moore. So we'll get into that a whole nother time. But this story is really amazing because Jack has to tackle his personal demons. And in the book, he talks about his biggest problem is coming down the stretch that he doesn't trust himself and these demons emerge, and it's a lack of self-belief that really hampers Jack's innate ability. And when it comes to striking a golf ball and making putts, Jack's about as good as they get. And but the problem is really, we have to play this 5-inch course between our ears if we want to be a winner, and Jack has to learn how to close it out. So, at any rate, there's also a beautiful love story that's in the book, and it's inspired by my fiance, America, who's a yoga instructor, and she's had such a great influence on my life. I found that yoga's been very beneficial to my golf game personally, in terms of balance, flexibility, breathing, and controlling my emotions. These are the things that yoga's given me that has been so helpful. And it's what Amanda, the yoga instructor in the story, what she winds up giving Jack. So Amanda and Billy are these two great influences that help Jack become a fully realized person. He's damaged and he's hurt and he's got traumas that he has not faced, that he's completely forgotten about from his childhood and being a young man, that he has to eventually come to grips with. And there's one other element of the story that comes out of those traumas that he really has to tackle. And it's a very difficult thing for him to face, but Jack's an alcoholic. And I know alcohol is a big part of most people's golf games. There's beers on the course, and then there's the 19th hole after you play, where if you play great, it's time to drink and celebrate. And if you play terribly, it's time to drink and drown your sorrows. So alcohol is a very powerful sedative when it comes to dealing with the stress of playing golf. And that's another issue that I think Jack really, really has to come to grips with if he's going to be the best golfer that he can be. It's interesting because I quit drinking about a year and a half ago, and when I talk about writing my novel, I started writing my novel in July, early July, when I came back from my vacation around, I don't know, it's like around mid-July. And in 3 months, I had the manuscript written. And it was way longer than I expected. I had structured the story out, and it wound up being 145,000 words. That's 359 pages. And the way I did it was I would usually get up between 3:45 a.m. and 4:30 a.m., and I would write until dawn. And the reason I tell you that story is because when I used to drink, at least a couple drinks every evening, I never got up before the sun rose. And it's because of the fact that I've stopped drinking that I was even able to create this novel, and it's amazing how quickly it poured out of me once I actually wrote the first words, which, let me see. I'll read you the first words of the book. It starts out with, the day destroys the night, night divides the day, tried to run, tried to hide, break on through to the other side. Jack sang along with the doors in his car. He turned down the radio and surveyed the scene across a dozen lanes of freeway. Jack was stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic, driving up the 405 freeway from Long Beach to LA. He wasn't going anywhere. Jack yelled at the top of his lungs, LA traffic sucks. So Jack was driving to one of the most exclusive golf clubs in the world, the Los Angeles Country Club. It would host the following year's US Open, and today was Jack's first day on the job as a team member that would spend over a year preparing the club for the national championship. So that's how the book begins. It's quite a story. We'll follow Jack through many, many trials and tribulations, but it's a real story about golf that really golf geeks are going to absolutely dig. I talk a lot about golf balls. There's a whole storyline about what golf ball Jack plays, or actually, he's going to wind up playing two golf balls for a very specific reason when he finally gets to the US Open. And his golf clubs, there's some pretty interesting stories about his golf clubs, and I think if you guys are around my age, you're probably going to remember some of this stuff because when he goes back to his home, he actually has a dozen golf bags filled with so many set. He's got hundreds of golf clubs, from his entire career. So you golf club guys out there are probably going to get a kick out of that. There's great stories about him learning to swing his natural swing and going back to a motion that he can trust, and also putting. Um, all the things that I've learned over the course of my swing evolution are present in this book. And it's a real honor to be able to share all of this with the public. And it is my dream that one day it'll be a movie or even a television series. This book is designed to be a nice 10 or 12 episode arc for a season one of a television show. And like I said, I've got many more books on the way, and the Jack Dagger story is just getting started. But at any rate, I appreciate you listening to all this. I hope you have a very happy Thanksgiving and also a very Merry Christmas. I love all you guys. God bless you. Hit them long and hit them straight.